5 years. It's kind of crazy making this video right now. I got 7% of battery. It's connected to the charger. It's gonna explode my battery and I'm running out of memory in the phone, so I gotta keep this video very short. And I really don't have the time to make this video, but I feel like making this video instead of watching like 15 minutes of YouTube, maybe some stand-up and getting on with my life. So I'd rather just speak my mind out about the mental services and the mental state of mental services in Finland. I'm not coming to you from Newfoundland. I'm coming to you from Finland, the like what, like the happiest country on earth for the like fifth year in a fucking row. Well, that's where I'm hailing from, born and bred. Um, just really like America. Actually, I'm on the autism spectrum, so I have this autistic fascination towards the American English, and that's probably why you can make sense of me speaking. Um, well, though regular people here also are able to speak English on a very high level, but I just like to think that I'm better than them because it's just my passion. I've had this passion for the English language, and I've worked hard for my English. So, however, like just about the mental services in the best country in the world or the happiest country on the earth, you know, it should be like number one, and it's not. Take me for example, like today I've been feeling like I really want to crawl under the bed, or I want to call the services, and which I can just call a helpline, have a phone call without any service charge, no extra fees, just regular phone call price that I would pay to calling a landline, and or regular mobile phone of a friend, just regular price, and I can talk to somebody who's experienced in helping people with this, but might be uneducated. Or I can book a time and see a professional some months later. Uh, and I really felt and feel that that's like, I just got this strong sense this is so hopeless. I can't deal with all of this shit right now. I feel like raising my hands up and just saying, help me. But instead of going asking for help, I'm just gonna vent about what's so bad about the help that I don't even want to get it. Because, like, I know how to fix these mental health services in the world. If I was there to decide and do the therapies myself with the patients, and yeah, I think this video is actually useful wherever you're located in America or anywhere in the world, really, because we all got mental issues, and it can all it can happen to any of us. Because really, like, take me for example, I was on my second year studying at a prestigious university. I had a nice Ford that my old man had got me as my first car, and I had 10 grand on my bank account because I was far away from home, living on my own, being independent. So I even had money and a car, and I was doing great at my studies. And like, despite of having tons of money to party with, despite having a car to get girls with, I did nothing of the sort. I was a really hardworking, shy student, probably because of my autism. I just found it really, I was really stingy with money. Like, I would starve myself. And I would do great in my university, and but then I married a psychopath. And that can actually happen to any of us. Like Albert Einstein could marry a psychopath. Anybody could marry a psychopath. Actually, Albert Einstein has had uh, greater vulnerability of being of falling prey to a psychopath than a regular person, despite his truly mighty intellect or intuition. You could also call it in his case. Undeniably, a man whose brain we can appreciate in the field of science. So, I married a psychopath, and in this happiest country in the world where you got best, you should have best everything. I went to a psychologist asking, like, hey, I married this person like 1 month ago, and I've been doing just fine with my university studies, but now I haven't been able to study for several months, and I just feel like my mental health is just completely deteriorated because of this marriage, because this person is just making me think the impossible that she just might be a crook out for the Finnish citizenship, and that's why she wanted to marry me in a terrible hurry, with not even having sex with me. Like, no time, we got just getting married. Let's do it on a wedding night, and um, I wanted the doc to tell me that I'm not crazy, I'm not racist. She actually might be out for the Finnish passport. Instead, the doctor told me, hold on, hold your horses. We don't know if she's trustworthy or not. She might be just. I mean, I left the doctor feeling like I might be going crazy and racist instead of getting any help. I mean, obviously, the doctor could have. If I had been the doctor, I could have told myself, okay, after all that I just heard, this person does sound a bit like this person does. Everything you told me about this person does fit into the category of psychopathy. However, of course, I would never want to insult your wife and accuse her of being a psychopath, especially since I've never even diagnosed her or seen her. But, however, of course, there's always bad people out there, and never ever, my young son, make the mistake of thinking that nobody could be that evil. Yes, they can. Absolutely ruthless. They will actually enjoy your pain, watching your pain. Oh my god, if somebody told me this, I had no idea. I had no. Like, I was married to a psychopath, and only 15 years later did I find out what does these concepts mean. I had no idea what is a psychopath, what's a sociopath, what's a malignant narcissist. I had no fucking idea. I knew what is a narcissist. That word is tossed around in newspapers, but not psychopath, not sociopath, not malignant narcissist. No. So I really didn't know, and all I would, all I was, so yeah, mental services suck in this particular example. And then 3 years later, I managed to finally escape her threats, and I got divorced, and I started a new life in a foreign country, secret life, so she couldn't threaten me no more. And then a few years later, I met a new girl who after like 6 months of dating, told me that this is it, and she's never liked me, and she's just faked liking me, and she's faked every orgasm, and so this is the second time in my life I pick up the phone and I think, okay, now I need psychological help, and or I reach out for psychological help, mental health services in my life, and that experience didn't help me either. And then the third time I have to reach out for psychological mental health services is when this same girl she eventually came back and told me no, she was just saying that, she didn't really mean it, and blah blah blah. And 8 years went by. 8 years, she tells me that she wants to have a baby with me, and then after 8 years, she gets pregnant, and then she aborts the baby and tells me that she would never ever want to have a baby with me because my salary, even though I worked all the time, I was just making 2,000 a month, which is salary for like for 50, 60 hours of work every single week. So it wasn't enough. It was enough to have a car and nice place to live, but it wasn't enough for her or for the baby. She told me so that she aborted the thing, and then her neighbor I stumble upon her neighbor, and the neighbor starts telling me that we could start a business together, a car uh, repair shop, and he already got one, and I could just start working there, and we could start another one later together, and so that way you get the money, and nobody will abort your baby ever again, bro. And this person also turns out to be exactly like my wife, even though this person is of different gender and from a different country altogether, different culture. So I have to reach out for mental health services for the third time and tell them that there's this guy who's been telling me that he's gonna send out this guy who's a professional killer who's gonna kill my dear ones, and I'm gonna be so tortured and dead if I go to the police. And I really had proper reason to go to the cops, and then the mental health services failed me again, because they told me that they cannot help me unless I stop smoking cannabis, which is the only medication for autism. And I told them that, okay. I explained my situation, that I cannot just like stop my life right now. And they told me, oh, but you should. We just write you this time off from life, and you're now on a sick leave, and you just take your rest, just stop smoking cannabis, so we can actually help you and see the real you. And so they did, and they diagnosed me with autism, and I mean, not blaming them for that. It's not like mental health services are always horrible, but and after hearing my life story of always being in trouble because of my autism every single year of my life, and I was already past the age of 30 at the time, so they decided to just put me on a sick leave temporarily, which would go on for years and years, and most likely all my life. Because if the reason for being put on um, sick pension, a pension for being mentally sick, and the reason is not something temporary like the threat thing, but the reason is that it's autism, then how would I ever get off that sick leave or pension scheme? Um, got so I never took it, and but also the government refused to pay me any money because even though I was on a sick leave and I was unable to take care of myself, eat properly, go to the supermarket, I was eating like shit. And it was really hard to go to the supermarket. And it was hard to get the money to go to the supermarket when you are just unable to fill your documents and get your minimal money to survive. Then and they took away that minimal money because they said you refuse to take your depression pills, and it seems like your problem is depression that is caused by this crime and threat. 2018 it happened, and this this threatening and yeah, I hate the fact that I'm coming across as a guy who can't speak English now, but it's just, it's like my mind is just shutting down when I'm thinking about all this. And I think the only way that keeps my marbles well oiled and cock spinning, wheels roll is ganja. It's engine oil, and it helped me to formulate stuff. It helps me to actually face the traumatic memories. It helps me to deal with them. It helps me to open my letters one by one. But yeah, I feel like I'm facing such big problems right now that I feel like calling and asking for help, but the mental services just don't have a way to help me. Even though if I was the guy in charge of mental services, I totally could help myself. So what I can do is help myself and tell the world how you should run your mental health services, because I think you suck almost everywhere. Probably. I mean, I know there's gotta be some good ones out there. Every country has people who are very talented at helping people, but those people are not really given the opportunity to help people the right way. Anyway, all this threatening and stuff, 2018, it got me so disabled that I had to ask for money from the government because I had to stop my university studies because all I could think about was, what can I do? Should I kill myself before they torture me for going to the cops, or should I escape abroad, but then they will torture my dearest ones? What the fuck should I do? I couldn't just focus on my studies when all this was very new, and I had just gone to the cops like 1 week ago, so my mind was racing. So since 2018, now it's 2022, and it's almost summer. So it's been almost full 4 years, and I really wasted the three first years because nobody could help me. They could just force me to stop smoking ganja, which I did for 6 months, which made me unable to open my letters, unable to clean my apartment, things I was doing before I stopped smoking. And then I just couldn't deal with it all, and all I could do is just hide under the covers and watch YouTube. So then by chance I heard the word malignant narcissist, and then I read about it, and that was like 1 year ago, and that's the way I help myself, and the way I would help others is I would have this sauna therapy or the sweat lodge therapy. Um, I wish it was legal to have a sauna, like a Finnish sauna, which has been used for thousands and thousands of years amongst the Finnish people, and the whole sauna was filled with ganja smoke, so that anybody who would enter such a room would get high, like high, and it is real ganja, and that is how it's been used for thousands of years. I would have one of those, and I would help people there by talking to them, being their spiritual guide, and and just you know do the old Finnish thing, being a natural healer instead of some pill popping doctor. Um, I would basically take them to church. Sauna is the church, and you always come out cleaner than you go in. That's a fact. Spiritually cleaner. Um, but of course, it's totally illegal. Like it would be impossible for anybody, even if the grandson of Bob Marley moved to Finland and said that he wants to practice his Rastafari religion. He believes in the same God as the Finnish people do, the Christian God. He believes in the same Jesus Christ as the Christian people in Finland do. However, he believes that the Holy Ghost is the holy vehicle, the ganja, that enters the heart of a human or the lungs of a human and puts a circle around, a halo around one's head and elevates the one to be able to think more in the same godly frequency as holy men can, and Jesus did. And so just believing in the same God and the same Christian commandments, and the Bible doesn't say you can't smoke ganja, so there's no way anybody, not even the grandson of Bob Marley or Albert Einstein, looking cannabis for his autism, or anybody for any reason, a cancer patient, anybody, or a war veteran, a veteran of war, looking at alleviation to his war traumas through cannabis. It's strictly prohibited in Finland. Because, yeah, they say, well, they will just write you a ticket, but that ticket will cancel your life for 5 to 7 years. It'll show up. It's very hard to get a job. with that record, and it's very hard to go to a doctor with that record because they always treat you like asking you first thing, oh, how's your amphetamine addiction? Are you still shooting the thing? That's how they think of you. Because I've never done anything else than cannabis and mushrooms and alcohol, and I've tried tobacco a little bit, and I've done coffee, I've done sugar. That's it. So they they always treat you like you were shooting up amphetamine just because you're taking cannabis for your autism, and you never get higher than this. You're always like this just because of autism. It never made you higher than this, not even in the beginning. No matter what the amount I take, I can take 5 grams of 29% THC cannabis, like Blue Monster, and I smoke some really certifiably strong stuff, huge amounts. I don't get high. I never did. It's medication, just makes me hyper functional, which in my case is just regular functioning as seen from normal people's point of view, because without it I'm autistic. With it I'm I have no autism, but I still got the good sides of autism. I still got my autistic special talents without the autism. So yeah, people like Einstein should definitely have gotten this, because instead of just being a brilliant mind who cannot really explain or communicate his brilliance to the world, that's a sad story, but with the help of cannabis, you can actually talk and formulate your words and the discoveries you made in the field of science. It's a very important vehicle, this Holy Ghost it is. So my point is that I know exactly how to help them with the sauna therapy from Finland, but this kind of traditional holy sweat lodge thing, which is actually, I think, UNESCO World Heritage from Finland, the sauna and the sauna culture, it's still not, it's still illegal. The original sauna culture and everything is just, what a fine land it is. Happiest country in the world, my ass. Like, if this is what they do to their autistic people, like Einstein, is this what they do to victims of psychopaths? They can't help you. All they want to do is force you to take pills. It's a very little liberty. And people should have religious freedom to refuse medication, and they wanted me to take painkillers after surgery. I said that's against my religion, and they started threatening me with giving me the needle for psychosis patients because you're obviously insane. But eventually, then my relative managed to explain to them that no, I've always been this nuts about medication, that I've been raised by some kind of an Indian who just doesn't believe in the pills and pain medication either, because and even if you take just the one painkiller, the kind you give to children, it contains impurities. It's not good. Like, if you manage to treat your pain with just ganja without the painkiller, without popping the painkiller, then you have less impurities and it's better for your recovery. So they shouldn't force painkillers on people. And, well, they didn't, but they almost shot me with a psychosis needle for not just believing my conviction, lifelong conviction of not taking medication, even though I had medical history of not taking medication before as well, and really, like, I really feel like I should just call somewhere and ask for help right now because I can't survive. I've been evicted from this apartment like 2 months ago, and I'm just waiting that I've been waiting all day that the cops might show up today and just force me out of this apartment and just trash my belongings. Because I can't, I can't deal with the idea that I have to actually finish drinking my morning coffee to an empty stomach and actually get to work, start packing, start opening my letters about the blackmail and going to the cops and all that. But it's been 4 years and I haven't received any help. But it's been 4 years I haven't been able to open my letters. It's been 2 months I've been evicted, but I'm still living here legally. And I just can't fucking deal with it all. But they can't help me either. Like, of course, if I had like 1 week ganja, I think I would be fine. But when you don't, and you are afraid to leave the house to get some ganja because they might come here and trash my stuff in the meanwhile, oh fuck. And of course, you don't have money to get the ganja because you would have to work, and I would be very happy to work, and I'm good at many things. I speak over 10 languages, and I've worked in many careers, and I have one vocational degree, and I've got a university degree almost ready, but I have to wait 5 years more that I can finish it because I got caught with ganja. So I can't finish my studies as long as I have my ganja there in the record, and I can't work because I have ganja in the record in the jobs that I worked before. And even if I apply to be a toilet cleaner, I think they'll steal that. I think they will be afraid that I will steal the toilet brush because I'm just some drug user who's just out for quick money, not afraid to sell his own grandmother for money. And it's quite an impossible situation. But then again, if I contact the help services, how the hell are they gonna help me? Like, you should just give me a prescription for ganja. You don't have to pay for it, but that's the only thing I would literally need is a prescription for ganja, because then it's legal for me, for my autism, for my traumatic experiences, for my religious views, for my Finnish heritage, for my physical pain. Then I could actually take care of my, like, I could work. I would have money to buy shampoo. I would be able to drive a car. It's my autistic special interest. I'm very good at it, and it means the world to me. Just like foreign tongues, like doing this in English, and because normally I sound like this. Niin tavallisesti arkisin mä puhun kyllä ihan tälleen, että mä koitan saada tähän nyt jotain miehekkyyttä, että mä näytän vähän möreältä ja sitä äänen tasoa, mikä Suomessa yleensä on, ettei kuulosta semmoiselta peräs. Pitää kuulostaa vähän miehekkäämmältä, että tajutte, että mä oon aito jäbä, jolla hauista ja ruista ranteessa, tajutteko tämän? So normally I sound like this, but I get a kick out of doing it in English, and it's way easier to talk about your traumas in a foreign language than in your own language.